Now the latest revelations about documents found at President Biden's home. ABC's Mary Alice Parks is at the White House with more. Good morning to you, Mary Alice.
Eva, good morning. Once again, the White House is correcting the record and revealing that they have, in fact, found even more classified pages than previously disclosed. On Thursday morning, the White House put out a statement confirming that a small number of documents had been found at the president's home in Wilmington in the garage, and that just this week, on Wednesday night, one additional document had been found in a room adjacent to the garage. Now, the special counsel to the president, Richard Sauber, is telling us that, in fact, hours after that statement was released, an additional 5 pages with classified markings were found in that adjacent room next to the garage. Now, the discovery of these new 5 pages was made apparently while Sauber, who has security clearance, was with officials from the Department of Justice transferring that one page that had been found by the president's lawyers. Now, Bob Bauer, Biden's personal lawyer, put out a statement yesterday, too, trying to defend some of this confusing lack of communication. He said there were limitations on the information they could publicly disclose, quote, necessary to protect the investigation's integrity. But big picture, all week, at every stage of this, there have been serious questions about the transparency or the lack of transparency from this White House. Why were they confirming some batches of documents and not others when they knew that other documents had been found? Eva?
I'm Mary Alice, thank you. There's a lot to talk about here. Let's bring in Jonathan Karl, who'll be hosting This Week later this morning. All right, John, this slow drip, 3 disclosures in a week, 2 of which we know weren't fully complete when they were shared. I mean, just how damaging is this?
I mean, the White House has not handled this in a sterling manner, and it clearly is a problem. I mean, you have the special counsel investigation. We've seen how those can really suck up a White House's attention and become a major distraction. But you're right, the drip, drip, drip. The first documents were discovered on November 2nd. That was 6 days before the midterm elections. We didn't learn about them till earlier this week, and then you had the subsequent revelations, documents in the garage, documents in the room next to the garage, more documents in that room next to the garage. The White House says they are simply being transparent. But again, the transparency didn't seem evident when they didn't tell anybody about this back in November.
You mentioned that midterm election. We're about a year away from another presidential election. Already, we have 2 of the leading candidates under separate federal investigations into handling of classified documents. What are the implications as we head into the next election cycle?
Well, look, in some ways, these cases are entirely different. President Trump did not voluntarily turn over the documents. He didn't turn them over even when they were subpoenaed. When the FBI visited Mar-a-Lago, one of his lawyers signed a form saying that everything had been turned over. Of course, when the search warrant was executed, we saw more than 100 more classified documents that had not been turned over. So the situation is very different. Biden seems to be cooperating as this goes along, but it does muddy the waters for a campaign. I mean, the bottom line is that both men seem to have taken inappropriately classified documents when they left office. Biden as vice president, Trump as president.
Okay, let's bring Mary Alice Parks back in. The president, he's trying very hard to stay on topic and keep the focus on his priorities, but now he's staring down a newly divided government and a Republican House that has said it will investigate. How does this affect Biden's agenda? What are you hearing from behind closed doors at the White House?
Yeah, they're trying to carry on. He travels today to Georgia to mark Martin Luther King Day. But of course, everything they had going last week was overshadowed by this. We already know the Republicans have launched 2 investigations into these documents alone. The White House is very aware of how politically vulnerable this makes them. But like John was just saying, it can also be tricky for Republicans who have spent a lot of this last year defending President Trump's actions with and mishandling of classified information. So if they go too critical on Biden, this could backfire for them as well. Eva?
It'll be interesting to see how it all plays out. Mary Alice Parks, John Karl, thank you both. And you can catch John later this morning on This Week. He has exclusive interviews with Republican Representative Don Bacon and Democrat Adam Schiff, with more on that discovery of classified documents at President Biden's home and office. Plus, John speaks with Senator Raphael Warnock of Georgia after his runoff victory last month ensured Senate Democrats an outright majority.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.